I want to be the best, simple and plain. To be the best, you have to win. And that's why I play the game. That's what drives me.
If I got to fight to get you in the gym, that's a problem. That's a problem. You want players that are gym rats, players that want to be in the gym, that want to work. And then from there, you build on top of that. But if you're lazy, man, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to deal with you. You're going to make me feel dumber. You're going to lower my level. I don't think so. You can go over there.
You have to keep moving on, because I know a lot of guys who've been number one in the past years, and it just fell off a cliff. Mm-hmm. So I have to keep working hard, and hopefully everything will work out. I'll be number one in the future. So I'm going to continue to work hard, and we as a team will continue to work hard as an organization the same way. We continue to push and push until we get back to that top.
You start with where you want your game to be, what would make your game most unstoppable or hard to deal with. And now you work backwards from there. And you start building it one piece at a time, one move at a time, one counter at a time. So there's a lot.
We flew back to LA that night, and I got home, it's probably like 3 in the morning. And I went down to the high school, which is down the street from our house. And the janitor let me in the gym, and I shot all day. All day. I mean, all day. And this was right after that playoff game. And I didn't leave the gym. I just kept shooting and shooting and shooting and shooting and shooting and shooting and practicing and practicing. I got a chance to let out the steam of disappointing my teammates and millions of fans. I got a chance to let all that out instead of bottling it up and envision that moment over. That was a huge something for me, because I felt like everybody had written me off after the terrible result. I was really excited when the schedule came out and I saw we had Utah. Well, I just try to listen to my body, just kind of listen to it. We have a great staff here, and we just work hand in hand and just listen to how my body feels, and just try to respond accordingly.
We used to have an All-American camp I used to go to. At the time, when I first showed, I was a sophomore, and one of the things I would do is everybody would be at the cafeteria, eating and doing all sorts of stuff. I just go back and do they'd be resting, and they'd see me leave, right? But now you're in a tough position because you're like, okay, I want to be like, I'm following the kid to go work out, but I know he's working, he's up early, and he's doing all this other stuff. And so that was my way of showing them, I may be from the suburbs, but you're not going to outwork me.
Wow.
And I'm mentally going to.
Did someone teach you that?
We really seem to, have bonded and understand that if we want to get to that elite level, we really have to put in the work day in and day out.
With that, but I've worked extremely hard this summer to be able to play at a high level, regardless of the move. Right? If it's 30, if it's 48, I'm prepared to do whatever's necessary, and that's my job to do so.
My parents were great. Growing up, they instilled in me the importance of imagination, of curiosity, and understanding that, okay, if you want to accomplish something, I'm not just going to sit here and say, yes, you can do whatever you want. Yes, you can, but you have to also put in the work to get there, right? So they taught me that at a really early age, man. And when you grow up as a kid thinking that the world is your oyster, all things are possible if you put in the work to do it, and you grow up having that fundamental belief.
One of your high school friends said, when I was partying, he was playing basketball. When I was waking up, Kobe was playing basketball before class. How would you describe your dedication to the sport even back then?
Well, I tried to find a balance, right? I tried to do both. I had a great deal of energy, so if there was something like that, I'd play basketball for 2 hours. I'd go to the park, show up, I'd have a good time, I'd have fun, and I'd get back 5 o'clock. I'd working out and training the next day, so I tried to do both.
40-point games, 60-point games in 3 quarters. So talk about what led up to the big monster 81-point game.
Well, it was 1,000 makes a day in the summertime, and going through things just as I would during the game. So I knew exactly where my positions were within the triangle and where the shots would be coming from.
So everything that I did throughout the course of my training was literally simulating that. So it was all game shots. So when it came in the game, things were just automatic because I put my body through it before. You know, sometimes you get in the gym and you work out, you work on ball handling, you work on shooting, but none of it's really within a structure of what you will be doing in the game. For me, it wasn't like that. It was literally carbon copy of what I'd be doing. So by the time the season came around, it was all just muscle memory. I understand there's different levels of focus and commitment to a craft. I get that completely. Guys want to go out and have a good time. I get that completely. However, if you're going to do that, you show up to work the next day, you better be ready. Right? If you're going to do that, you better come to practice and you better be ready to go. If you're not, then I'm going to let you know. And I think the message was sent pretty clearly. Rest at the end, not in the middle. And that's something I always live by.
Yeah, we're going to work hard. You know, that's what training camp's about, preseason's about, is working hard, getting in shape, getting in condition. And not so much about the games, but just, you know, the game is just another way to kind of, you know, get your exercise, get your win, get your rhythm. So we're pushing it in practice all week.
But it's simple. Like, if you do the math on this, right? Like, if you're thinking about how often kids are playing, right? And I tell this to my daughter and my daughter's team as well that I coach. It's a simple thing of math. If you want to be a great player, if you play every single day, 2-3 hours, every single day, over the course of a year, how much better are you getting? Most kids will play maybe, you know, an hour and a half, 2 days a week.
Right.
Do the math on that. It's not going to get it done. It's not going to get it done, right? So if you're obsessively training 2-3 hours every single day over a year, over 2 years,
You're accelerating.
you make quantum leaps, man.
Just doing a
If I could work that hard every day, with being blessed with the physical tools that I have, what would my career be? And I made a promise to myself from that day that I was going to work that hard every single day so that when I do retire, I have no regrets. And that was the most important thing for me, is to leave no stone unturned, get better every single day. And if I lived that way, then over time, you know, I'd have something that was beautiful. But that was my philosophy. It seems like a pretty simple one, but you know, if you live your life to just get better every single day, and do that for 20 years, I mean, what do you have?
Pressure's a funny thing. You know, I always felt like the people that feel pressure are the people that cut corners and really didn't put the work in. If you know you've put in all the work, what is there to be nervous about? You've done it thousands of times before. You just go up there and do it one more time. Really a question of what side of the fence do you want to be on? You know, do you want to be nervous in those situations, or do you not want to be nervous in those situations? Do you want to look at pressure as a normal sport occurrence, like breathing is to every single day of your life? Then you put in the work. And if you don't, that's on you.
I think the best way to prove your value is to work, is to learn, is to absorb, to be a sponge. Right? But you always want to outwork your potential. You know, as hard as you believe you can work harder than that.
Well, because you just focus on the day that you're playing. I mean, it's as simple as that. Like, whatever you're doing in that moment, that's what you're doing. That's your sole focus. So you don't think about, you know, I have to do this for another year, or I have to do this for another 2 months. Just think about that moment. What are you doing at that moment in time? You focus on 100%. That happens to me, like when I'm running, when I'm working out, I'm running. I do a lot of work on the track. And I'm running, and I'm really tired. But the finish line is all the way on the other side. And if I look at where I have to run, I get even more tired. So what I do is I just look down. I just look down, I just look at my feet just moving. And then the next thing you know, I look up and I'm crossing the finish line. You move with it. The strength and flexibility and the strength and acceptance. Like in my game now, I could say, no, I want to be able to jump as high as I used to. I want to be able to be as fast as I used to. I have to be, no, I don't jump as high as I used to. That's okay. I'm not as fast as I used to be. That's okay too. I'll figure out another way to do it.
To me, the mentality is a really simple one in the sense that the confidence comes from preparation. You know, so when the game's on the line, I'm not asking myself to do something that I haven't done thousands of times before, right? So when I prepare, I know what I'm capable of doing, I know what I'm comfortable doing, and I know what I'm not comfortable doing. Right? And so in those moments, if it looks like I'm ice cold or not nervous, it's because I've done it thousands of times before. And so it's one more time. Overall, the idea is a very simple one. And, the Mamba mentality simply means trying to be the best version of yourself. That's what the mentality means. It means every day you're trying to become better. And it's a constant quest. It's an infinite quest. So starting at the age of 2, when I first started playing the game, and on and on and on, I always ask questions. I always try to get better every single day, learn more.
You were asking questions at 2?
Oh, dude, I was asking questions all the time. You'd be surprised. Like some people, like my kids at 2 could do a lot of things. Mm-hmm. At 2, I could dribble a basketball. I could shoot a basketball on the Nerf hoop at the house, and I would go to practice with my father. I would observe my father. I'd sit and watch games with him. And
was he your first coach?
Yeah, man, I guess you could say that. A lot of things I learned by being around the game. Mm-hmm. Right? So by the age of 6, I was already strategizing versus other 6-year-olds. At the age of 6, I figured out 6-year-olds couldn't dribble with their left hand. And so I said, okay.
A lot of 12-year-olds can't dribble with their left.
Well, yeah, well, imagine 6. So when I was playing these 6-year-old kids, I would make them dribble with their left because I knew they couldn't. And so they dribble off their foot, I'd pick it up, lay it up. Do it again. Dribble off foot, pick it up, lay it up. So at 6 years old, I had 63 points. And I remember my dad.
So your 6-year-old self could beat your 38-year-old self because you only scored 60 in the last game.
Yeah, no, but I can dribble with my left though, so that's a problem. But yeah, I mean, listen, I just constantly looked for things to learn from, and very observant.
When you talk about this love, when does it develop? Did you like it when you were 5, or is it something that kind of gradually?
It was 2. I was born, and I was born to play basketball. You know what I mean? And I played a lot of different sports, but nothing brought me the sense of peace and of escape that the game of basketball did.
Is it an escape when you get on the court? Is that your zen time, your solitude time?
Yeah.
Even though it's a teamwork game?
Yeah, when I need that escape, it's there for me, right? When I need a friend, it's there for me. When I need to vent,
the Mamba comes out.
It's there, So the game is absolutely everything. The game is just a part of me. So it never leaves. Even now that I'm retired, everything that I've learned from the game of basketball, I've carried it over into life. Mm-hmm. Like basketball has helped me be a better person, a better friend, a better father. Well, because there's life lessons that are within the game, like communication, like unselfishness, like attention to detail, empathy, compassion, like all those things are in the game. And as an athlete, if we are aware of those things, it helps us become better human beings.
Mm-hmm. And you can apply that toward your post basketball days, retirement, into your business world, your future ventures.
Sure. I mean, you can apply. I was applying that even while I was playing, just in life outside of the game, and even more so now. In building a business and all these things. The kind of culture you want to have. All those things are directly learned from the game of basketball. Mm-hmm. If your job is to try to be the best basketball player you can be, right? To do that, you have to practice, you have to train. Right? You want to train as much as you can, as often as you can. So if you get up at 10 in the morning, train at 11, right? 12, say 12, train at 12, train for 2 hours, 12 to 2. You have to let your body recover. So you eat, recover, whatever. You get back out, you train, start training again at 6. Train from 6 to 8, right? And now you go home, you shower, you eat dinner, you go to bed, you wake up, do it again, right? Those are 2 sessions. Right? Now imagine you wake up at 3, you train at 4. You go 4 to 6, come home, breakfast, relax, blah, blah, blah. Now you're back at it again, 9 to 11, right? You relax, and now all of a sudden you're back at it again, 2 to 4, and now you're back at it again, 7 to 9. Look how much more training I have done by simply starting at 4, right? And so now you do that, and as the years go on, the separation that you have with your competitors and your peers just grows larger and larger and larger and larger and larger. And by year 5 or 6, doesn't matter what kind of work they do in the summer, they're never going to catch up because you're 5 years behind. Right? So it makes sense to get up and start your day early because you can get more work in.